Hey, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Turnaround Marriage Live. We are excited to dive in with you today about a subject that is near and dear to our hearts as well. It's people that come to us. It's the main reason that they come to us, and that is with dealing with conflict. And today also, we're really excited to share an announcement, something we're really excited about. For the first time, we're going to be offering something. We'll be sharing about that in just a few minutes. But first of all, we want to make sure if you're coming to us on Facebook that you're part of our Facebook group, Turnaround Marriage, and you've also liked our Turnaround Marriage Transformational Coaching page. Make sure you like both those. Also, if you're coming to us through YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and share our videos. We would appreciate that so much.
Yeah. So guys, today we're going to be talking about how to turn conflict into closeness. And listen, trust me when I tell you, conflict is a part of every single marriage, whether it's something you avoid at all costs, whether it's something that's explosive, whether it's something that is just sort of that underlying tension, or whether it's just that occasional thing that comes up. And so here's the thing that we know and that we've learned over our almost 27 years of marriage. Has it been 27? Almost 27. I'm like, when did
That's
we get
your department to remember that.
Yeah.
If you forget, we're really in trouble.
We're both in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that we have known and learned in our work with couples over these last 20 something years that we've been doing work with couples. And that is that when conflict is handled poorly, it can absolutely destroy relationships.
Yeah.
If it's either not dealt with at all and swept under the rug, or if it is dealt with out of anger, out of explosiveness, out of rage, out of, where you don't really know what your partner's going to do. You're not sure how they're going to react. You have these taboo subjects. And here's the thing, guys, the holidays are coming. They're here. Christmas is a couple weeks away. And because holidays are stressful, we have opportunities to have more conflict. There are definitely going to be times with extended family where there's also tight schedules and there's so many events to go to and there's so many things pulling at you in this season of Advent where we're preparing for the celebration of our Lord. And yet the expectations that people have, we have on our spouse, they have on us, our kids have, and all these things are pulling and pulling and pulling at us. And it is an absolutely ripe season for conflict, right?
And we always resolved that it would never happen that way, but yet it's the tension's always there. The busyness is always there, right?
Yeah. And if we think we're exempt, and if we think a marriage can be exempt from conflict, we're in real trouble, especially if we don't have the tools to handle it. Yeah, right. That's so true. And so what we've seen over and over again is this pattern that there seems to always be one person in the marriage who tends to be conflict avoidant. They really hate it. They want to avoid at all costs. And the other one tends to be more confrontational, right? Where they like to handle things quickly. And boy, that combination can just lead to a vicious spiral.
Any guesses on us? Just curious.
Yeah.
It tends to be men this way, female a different way.
I think you think that, but I don't know if that's always true.
Could be.
Because you are the one who likes to avoid it, and I'm the one who likes to resolve it. But I don't always go about it the right way. So what were you going to add?
That's so true. And I think you're right. But conflict doesn't always look like arguing either. Conflict doesn't always look like this push and give and take. Yeah. It can also look like you're both avoiding it. It can be like we're sweeping it under the rug and like we're good Christian people and we don't want to have conflict, even though you're frustrated with each other, but you try to ignore the frustration and you avoid the discussion, so to speak. And then over many, many months or years even, that the tension can build. Yeah. And so there's this walls that have been built. There's not intimacy. There's not connection. And so there's still conflict. It's just undealt with conflict and you're trying to out nice each other and that isn't working. Or it could also be you got so sick and tired of the fighting that you just stopped and cut off all communication. Doesn't mean that there isn't conflict. It just looks a little bit different. It isn't just because, conflict could look like one chasing the other or head to head doesn't mean it can't also look like other things too, right? Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because when there is the tendency, for some couples we've worked with where it was like we just swept things under the rug for so many years, where now we're like two distant drifting ships that are just we've drifted so far apart we don't even know what to say to each other. We have these long awkward car rides where we don't know what to talk about. We just are on our phones at night and we don't have anything to share about. And we've just learned to, maybe one of you has just learned to say whatever you want, hon, whatever you want. Yeah. I don't want to fight. And then there's this growing loneliness, right? That creeps in. And so often that frustration and that low level of tension that's there in the background all the time, that eggshell walking we call it. It's like that can just lead to such seething anger underneath, where now all of a sudden one little thing happens and somebody's exploding, and we've been stuffing it, we've not been dealing with it, pushing it down, hoping it'll go away, just trying to forgive and forget, which doesn't work, and then it's like one day it just can all come out and you're like, we weren't even arguing about that, and you're bringing up things from 10 years ago and 15 years ago and all this stuff. Guys, if we don't learn how to handle conflict correctly, it can absolutely not just destroy your relationship, it can destroy your family, because your children are picking up on it and they are going to copy what you do, not what you say, right?
That's true.
So
yeah, I mean, and so it doesn't just happen overnight. It builds with time, and in this distance that's building is, it's really the heart of it is that there isn't teamwork. This distance that's built over time, and it can look like different things. It can look different ways, but the heart of it is that you're not connecting as a team. And so, even when people come to us and say, our problem is that we're fighting about money, we're fighting about the kids, we're fighting about extended family, like they think that that's the problem. They think it's that they can't get on the same page about COVID or who to vote for. And in reality, these are symptoms of the underlying problem, and that is that's unresolved conflict. And so, it's really that lack of teamwork that's happening. And so, what happens is that there are those hot topics that you tend to avoid. And if you're fighting about them, you're like, oh, we're just going to avoid them, and as if everything's going to be okay. And what does that do? But it always creates further distance. It always builds a wall between the two of you. It always makes for more of a disconnect. And so what happens? It's not like this is just a void. This is not just a situation where you can just avoid some topics and everything's going to be fine. No, frustration builds. And then it's not just frustration. Frustration grows into bitterness and resentment. And then, your heart can even get cold towards each other. But what's interesting is that when you have that bitterness and that resentment and the coldness that grows within you, sometimes that can actually grow towards God too, and other people that you care about. And so suddenly the holidays that are supposed to be the time about family and connecting can be such a difficult season for so many, because there's so much inner turmoil that's going on. They don't even necessarily know how to deal with it.
Yeah, it's so true, Scott. And, and the heartbreaking part too that we see is this as this distance grows, there's almost always now a lack of intimacy, emotional intimacy, sexual intimacy, spiritual intimacy, all of that. Like prayer goes out the window, sex goes out the window, closeness and sharing your feelings and thoughts go out the window. And it leads to such a place of loneliness, and especially at the holidays. And so, the heartbreaking thing is that so many couples don't have the tools. They don't know what to do. They've been in these patterns for so long. They're in these ruts, and they're just the automatic response of just, this is what I say. And he said that, now here I go. And bitterness and resentment are cancerous for a relationship, because they brew and they steep like tea, and they get heavier and thicker and darker and more pungent with time. And so what we really want to do is we want to show you guys, we want to have a solution for this, right? Because turning conflict into closeness is actually possible.
It absolutely is, because when you're not in that place of trying to solve the conflict together, how could you? Conflict is something to be avoided above all costs. And the heart of it is that you're not dealing.
Or so people think.
Well, so people think.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying. Yeah, because people, when they're in that place, it's like, I don't want the conflict, and the only way I know how to solve it is to get out of it, or my wife needs to change, or like they need to change.
Or my husband needs to change.
And they don't realize that it's actually an opportunity for connection and for teamwork and for getting on the same page and actually navigating that together. And so that, in fact, the number one thing that we hear people that are on the phone with us, guess what it is? It's communication, right? Of course it is. But I'm tempted to sometimes ask, but is it that you forgot how to talk? Of course it's not. So what is it about communication? Maybe you've needed some tools, but communication unto itself is not the problem. Everybody thinks that it is, but it's the fact that you've not been able to navigate the conflict. And the conflict you've not been able to tackle together as a team. And there's a lot of reasons, a lot of things that hold people back. It's usually not just the surface things. It's the resentment. It's the emotional state they're in, like frustrated, bitter. It's the anger that's low level, behind the scenes. There's the tapes of things that happened before in that marriage, or possibly in other relationships or in your childhood. All these tapes that are running. So there's a lot of things that have piled up, and suddenly you don't know how to not navigate this conflict that when you were dating, you could have blown right through.
Right. Isn't that true?
It's true.
Yeah. Did we forget how to talk? I mean, that's such a good question, right? Because the answer is no, we didn't forget how to talk. We forgot how to get underneath and how to really navigate this with real tools. And so we are so excited because we've got a special announcement coming. We have created and we've been working on putting together a very mini course. It's a very powerful, power-packed workshop that is going to show you exactly how to turn conflict into closeness. Right. So do you want to tell them a little bit about it?
Go for it. Yeah. We're going to be doing a workshop on, I'm just putting the date in here so everybody can see this, on January 9th. And it is going to be,
here we go.
There we go. Turnaround Marriage. We're going to have a workshop called Turning Conflict into Closeness. And we're really excited because we're going to pack in a short amount of time. It's going to be at 6 o'clock Eastern time in the evening.
Yes.
And so arrange accordingly, depending on where what time zone you're in. Yes. But when you go to this link below, turnaroundmarriage.com/workshop, you're going to see the times that are available there. But this is going to be so powerful because whether you've had conflict for a short season or for many years, we're going to actually help you, not just to figure out how to get through conflict, and not just how to deal with conflict, and not just how to understand conflict. We're going to help you to turn that conflict into closeness. That's a completely different aspect. It's very different than anything else that's out there in the marriage helps world. I think most of it is junk in comparison. And we're going to help you to give you the secrets to turn that around so that everything could be different. Because imagine for a moment what would be possible when conflict is actually an opportunity to grow closer and to move it towards more intimacy in the future with all the frustration and the bitterness left behind.
Yes. Imagine you could learn how to navigate those hot topics. Imagine you could learn how to navigate those things. Conflict now. Imagine you could learn how to stay calm in the midst of a conflicting conversation. Imagine you could learn how to get untriggered in the moment. Okay. Imagine you could learn why conflict being avoided has been damaging you so much and how to start turning that around and use that as an opportunity to build empathy and intimacy and closeness.
Yeah.
And so we're going to pack these 3 hours with so much incredible content. We're putting it together. We are incredibly excited. We want to have many, many of you on there because this is going to be an opportunity for really the best gift you could give yourselves and your spouse for 2023. What if 2023 could be the year that you learn how to turn conflict into closeness? And so it's going to be a 3-hour packed webinar. It's only going to be $580 now. There is an early bird special. If you order and you get your ticket now till the end of the year, we're going to knock it down to just $499. It's the very best gift you could give your spouse, you could give your family, you could give each other as a gift this holiday season, because this could be the way forward in making 2023 the year that you guys actually start resolving this and have a God-honoring marriage again, where we don't have these explosive fights and all that stuff.
Imagine what's possible.
Yeah.
Like imagine in your circumstance, what could be possible for the two of you if when conflict came out, and the evil one would want there to be division. Imagine if every single time you grew closer. Imagine instead of burying it, putting it off, put it in the back burner, letting it stay dormant for years, that you learn to navigate it in a powerful way. What would be possible then? So this is going to be it's such a powerful shift of perspective for so many of you out there. And in addition to that, it's going to be an opportunity we're going to have fun together. We're going to laugh. We're going to cry. We're going to have a great time. We're going to welcome you into our world to some degree. And then at the end, we're going to open it up for any questions that you have. So if you're a specific situation, you're like, what am I going to do here? Like, we're going to have a real special time together, and then we'll open it up. And so this is going to be a really, really powerful workshop. We've never done this before or anything like it. So we're really excited to launch this.
Yeah. And just some of the amazing tools and content we're going to help you guys, and it's workshop style, so we're going to actually show you how to do it. But you're going to learn the 3 secrets to being able to shift your mindset about conflict so that you stop withdrawing once and for all, and you stop running out the door every time conflict comes up. We're going to show you the 9 strategies that you can implement right now to start turning conflict into closeness, right? You are going to understand the 5-step process on how to start regulating your nervous system when you've been triggered in the moment, so that your nervous system can calm down.
I live this every day.
Yep. Even if you've been told that you have an anger problem or you have a quick temper, or for years you just have been exploding, right? We're going to show you how to stop stuffing your feelings and actually start to be able to share what you feel, but not let your feelings lead the way. This is going to be so powerful and life-changing for you guys. So you can go to turnaroundmarriage.com/workshop. You can get your ticket now. Again, this can be the best
seats
gift
are
you
limited
can give each other.
too. So
absolutely, seats are limited. This can be a great gift you could give maybe your adult children. If you know they've been struggling, you can gift this to them. Maybe you can gift this to your parents if you know they're struggling. So we look forward to seeing many of you on there. turnaroundmarriage.com/workshop. Definitely, we want to see you there. We want to show you how to have 2023 be the year that you do learn how to turn conflict into closeness.
What a perfect New Year's resolution too.
Absolutely.
We'll look forward to seeing you then. And until next time, we wish you God's blessings, especially in this Christmas season.
Yes.
Talk soon.
Bye, guys.